And this gym's been here since 1973.
Nice.
Let me know if the noise in the back gets too loud. I can walk outside. Hey, this guy right here, I'm doing live for my fight. This guy, he throws some bangers in there, bro. How old are you? 15. He's a 15-year-old, bro. I'm not bullshitting. He could fucking move. He could
All
fucking
right,
move.
let's go. Future superstar of America.
No problem, man. I'm telling you, Arizona, they got some fight.
We're live. TFN Insanity is here. What's up? What's up? Here. Steve-O here, of course, your host. I'm here with Albert Inclan.
Notice.
This guy is fighting January 29th, making his bare knuckle debut for BKFC January 29th in Jackson, Mississippi. What's going on, Albert?
Nothing, man. Just here at the gym, getting some work in.
Wow, that's a
Getting
big
ready.
gym, man.
Yeah, bro. It's two stories. You got one ring right there. You got one ring right there. If they get the other night, they had a biking crew come out here. There was about 1,000 bikes out here, and they put on a little sparring match around 11 o'clock at
Wow,
night.
nice.
I tell
That's
you that.
some nice. This is real deal training you got over there.
Yeah, you have Tyson Fury been over here. Mike Tyson's been here. A lot of greats been out here.
Wow. So who works out there? Who's the most notoriable, famous guy you got over there?
Right now, that's current David
Yeah.
Benavidez.
Oh yeah.
You heard of him before?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah, I met them. They're pretty legit. His brother's legit too. His sister, I don't know if you've seen the video of my shoes yet, but his sister did my shoes. They're almost finished. She's a very artistic lady.
Yeah. All
Oh
right.
yeah, man.
So tell us. So you're from Arizona, right?
Yes, sir.
So we had a tryout, BKFC Tryout, where the Fighting News sponsored the tryout. What was that, like 4 months ago?
The one in Florida.
Yeah,
Yeah, the one in Florida was 4 months ago. But
yeah.
the
So,
first,
so how'd you get there? How'd you hear about it? And how'd you get there?
well, I've I already went over there to Florida to link up with Ryan, and I did a couple of rounds with Jared. Boy, that guy, he made my nose hurt for a couple of weeks after, you know what I'm saying? But that boy can punch, man. I give him that. But
Ah,
yeah, I seen him then, but I went to the first tryout, and it's funny because of my opponent, I was at the same tryout that he was at. I seen him at the tryouts, but I weighed what 170. The picture that they used for the poster board, that was my first tryout photo.
yeah,
Yeah, man, I I was in hell during that time, and I wasn't training. My brother
yeah.
sent me the picture of the tryout. He screenshotted it to me on Instagram and told me I should go. So like all of this right here going on is thanks to my little brother.
Yeah, yeah,
All of
yeah.
this
Nice.
is crazy.
So, so your little brother tells you. You see, your little brother sees a post on Instagram and says, "This is for you. Go try out for bare knuckle in Florida." And you
Yeah,
just
man.
hopped on a plane and came.
Yeah, cause like my story is not just I just woke up and I just started fighting. Like
Yeah.
throughout my whole life, I've been boxing. I've got into boxing because of Michael Carvajal. I don't know if you heard of him before, but Michael Carvajal, he was a featherweight out here. He was a champion, world champion. I don't know. Is the music too loud out here for you?
It's the music's not too loud. It's just not that bright. The background's not that bright.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Do I
better.
hear good?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
no worries.
Um, yeah, where we at? Yeah, I've been boxing my whole life. It just I never took it serious. But what? I'm 26, and each year of these last 10, 15 years, I probably trained 10 months out of the year, and the rest of the months I was just bullshitting until I got shot, and then I was like, all right, God, you gave me another chance, man, so I better take it
You
serious.
got shot.
Yeah, I got shot, man. It's crazy. You can't really tell.
What? What? Who
Yeah,
shot you?
so this whole thing, man, it's baby mama drama. I got shot with my in-laws. I made the news. Dude, he was standing over me like this. Right here is where I got pissed with. But look, in the movies, they hit you, they pull out, they point, take a step back. In my mind, as I'm on the floor, he's hitting me. I tell myself, wait for that moment. He pulls out, aims. That's when I roll over. I do the distance in my head to how he's standing, to where that bullet's gonna go, and that's how it went in the bottom of my muscle and came out the top of the exact same muscle. Cause I kind of I kind of angled
Oh,
myself.
wait, Albert. Hey,
It's
wait.
crazy, huh?
We gotta start this story over. We gotta start this story over. So, where were you when this was happening?
I just dropped off my daughter
Okay, so you dropped off your daughter where?
at at her mom's house. Like I took
You
him to
drop
go
your
eat,
daughter in a car off
and my
at.
baby
Okay,
at their mom's house,
okay,
right?
and then
Or the
what
service is
happened?
going out. Alright, so when I'm about to go drop my baby mama and my daughter off, my mother-in-law was waiting for me at the house. We start going to a little high-speed chase through the neighborhood. I lose them. I go to McDonald's and I tell my baby mama, I gotta get you a lift home because I know who's waiting for me on that block. I know it's gonna get into some crazy shit. So I was like,
How do
I
you
left
know?
them at
How do
McDonald's.
you know? How do you know?
Man, listen, man, I'm telling you, bro. Like, it's not something to like brag about. But you know what I mean? I'm from out here, bro. Arizona,
Okay,
we get crazy.
so you know someone's looking for you.
Yeah, yeah. I seen the beef happen. You know, when people have bad habits and shit, and you try to get away from that life, like it's not for you,
Okay,
and people don't like that. It's a typical type shit. You know,
okay.
they
So
didn't like where
nothing
my head
nothing
was
you
at.
did that deserved you to get shot at all.
Not, it's dude. Like, I I'll give you a little bit more detail when we hang up. But I'm sorry, bro. Like, I'm not I'm not a saint, but I would never. I'm all about family. I'm all about that. If it doesn't work out, let me go do my thing. They just wasn't. It's a lot, bro. It's a lot of layers.
All right,
It's a lot of layers into it, bro. But
all right.
if anything, it was a blessing because you don't know what you're made of until you have a gun pointed in your face. You don't know if you're gonna fold. And I'm not playing, bro. I'm not trying to say this for the camera. It seems cool or nothing. But when it came to my face, it was nothing. Like I'm talking to you right now, that's how calm it was. And maybe that's
Yeah,
why I was able to get out of it because I had a knife in my pocket open. I could have yanked him when he put up like to hit me with the gun, but I seen someone coming around the other corner. If I would have popped him, I would have got shot. The only way, it's just a very tricky situation, and I just
how
thank
long
God that
ago
I made
was
it out.
this? How long
This
ago
was
was
in,
this?
this was at the end of 2018, right? So when I went to tryout, I wasn't a full year of being shot. My first tryout in Arizona, where I seen Diaz and Chris Steven, and
Yep.
that's when I first met everybody. I was still injured. It wasn't a full year. Top it off, I ended up having hand surgery because I got depressed and I hit the dirt and I swelled up my hand. I've been like a dog in the cage for like the last 2 years. This is my first full. This is I'm going on year two. Last year is my first full year of training. I can get back. Now this is my year to start fighting. It's
Nice,
I've been
nice.
in the shadows,
So,
man. I've been in the shadows.
so we just had a guy wants to come on. What's good, Ryan?
Yo,
I love that guy.
Look,
I
look who
love
we
that
got
guy right
here.
there.
hey man, this kid is by far has the biggest balls out of anybody I've ever met. I mean, if listen, he has a fighter's chance based on his heart, his balls, all that. So I mean, I don't put anything past him. Like you said, he's been through some rough shit. Like he got shot, and bro, like he was on the internet harassing me about I want to fight Jared. I want to fight Jared. And I'm like, bro, just pull up to the gym and fight him. And this fucking kid got on a plane from Arizona and came over here to fight Jared. So I mean, he got me. He has my support.
All right, so he's got a big fight coming up. Bare knuckle debut, January 29th, BKFC, Jacksonville, Mississippi. He's not going up against someone who's not had any experience doing this. David Diaz, he's been in the bare knuckle. He knows
Hey,
a
wait.
little
Hey,
bit about it.
wait. Let me say so. David Diaz is cool, but that was not my original opponent. My original opponent is 10 times way better than Diaz. I give Diaz his respect because he went in there, he did his thing, and I'm not even underestimating him to what he's bringing to me right now. But, like, that's not real cardio. He had more heart than the Viking Princess, but that's not real cardio. To me, like, I'm trying to, when I hit that bell ring, I want to end it the same way, that I started it. Straight pressure, straight, same amount of speed, same, like, this is a good fight for me, It's
Yeah.
a good fight because
No,
he's gonna come.
this fight is definitely a fair fight in the aspect of skill level. Like in skill level, Steve, I ain't gonna lie. In skill level, they're both the same level. But I think Albert, they both have heart. They're both very like self motivated. It's just, bro, this kid has something to fight for. Like the other guy, I don't know him personally. I'm sure he has his reasons for fighting, but like, bro, this kid has been in my inbox easily a year for asking advice, asking like, "Hey, what should I do? This? How should I train this? Where? How should I make weight? How do?" So like, it's not like he's just hopping off the couch and jumping in there. Like he's fucking training. He's in there. He's at the gym now. Like he's got a home
Yeah.
gym now where he could train at. So he's
Ryan,
he's
what
doing.
does Albert need to do to beat David Diaz in bare knuckle?
Not get tired.
Straight cardio.
That's it. Because the only thing that guy David Diaz does, he doesn't throw hard punches. He has that Joey Beltran mentality where it's just outwork you.
I
So
think
as long as
Joey Beltran trains him.
right,
Yeah.
so the
I
thing
told
is
him
like
not to
that out,
corner you.
but that outworking style that they have is good. But I mean, like he said, bro, he came to my gym, he fought Jared. Jared gave him a fucking beating, and the kid got up continuously. He got up 3 times from a beat. It got to the point where I figured he had enough, but he would have kept going if I fucking let him. Like he's not. He has
I,
balls and heart. I'll give him that. Balls and
I
heart are
made a
there
miss
all day,
though a few times.
but his balls and heart are there 100%. So I mean, it's
All right.
just now they finally gave him an opportunity. And when BKFC reached out to me, they asked me, "What do I think of Albert?" I was like, "Bro, he has balls and heart, and that's 90% of this shit." He's not. He's definitely not scared. He's definitely not going to quit. I know that for a fact. He's not. The beating Jared gave him and he didn't quit. He's not going to quit on David Diaz beating him up.
Yeah.
It was a little scripted. No, I'm just playing.
All
Listen,
right. So you're gonna get a shot, Albert. You
What weight?
you're
What
gonna
weight are you
be on
fighting
the
at? 35?
yeah, we couldn't
Are
make
you
125.
are you staying at 35, or are you going to go to a different weight class?
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see what they want me to do. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see what they want me to go to 125. If they want me to one. You know what I mean? It's. I'm cool with whatever. I'm cool with 125, 135. If it looks pretty, I'll go to 145. But I, I'm I'll just do whatever they want me to do right now. I'm just going with the flow. You know what I mean? My goal right now is like I agree somewhat. It's just a competitiveness of what Ryan said though. But like I understand my ideas, our skills look the same for what I produce. Right now for the gloves, the little sparring videos, for anything that I posted. But I know like people always gonna tell me it's different, bare knuckles, different, this and that. Anything I've ever done out here, I've scrapped people like not no dumb sloppy ass fights. Like I fought people bigger. I fight. You know, I'm not in there swinging crazy. My punches connect. Diaz hits with an open palm. I don't hit like that. I'm hitting straight nothing. My shit's gonna connect. Any
Yeah.
shot, I just have to back up anything I say. But I know when I go in there, I don't see Diaz hitting me clean. I don't see Diaz doing anything to me. I see him swinging at the air. You know, I don't. I see me clipping him with a good left. I see. That's
All
how I
right.
see it ending.
All right. So
This is
so
this is what
so go ahead. Right. I was about to say,
this is one
Ryan,
of
that Jared was 4 fights ago. Uh, in his bare knuckle debut.
yeah.
What? Well, going through all Jared's fights, what advice would you have for Albert? Being it's his debut in bare knuckle.
Take your time, enjoy the moment. Take your time in that ring. There's no rush to go out there and blast this dude in 30 seconds. There's no reason to do that. Take your time, show people your skill, and and show people what you're made of, bro. Like the longer you're in there, bro, the more not only experience you're gonna get, the more B-roll of fighting, of clips of fights you're gonna have. So don't go in there and try to kill this kid in 30 seconds. Pace yourself. Take your time, bro. Take your time. Pick him apart. He's not gonna get tired, so you got to take your time. But enjoy the moment, bro. Like you got to live in the moment. And bro, Albert, I know you live in the moment, so enjoy the moment, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, Albert trains at some big gym over there, Ryan.
Yeah,
Have
but
you seen that thing?
Albert has a secret weapon that he hasn't told people. He has a secret weapon. I'll be working his corner. I'll be working his corner for his fight.
Oh boy,
So
Florida
he has
meets Jackson,
he
Mississippi.
no, I'm not going to Mississippi. We're gonna do the Bobo Bannon via Bluetooth.
Okay.
So
Maybe we're gonna take out of his book.
so Brandon Lambert's gonna work his corner, and then Brandon's gonna have a Bluetooth on, and I'm just gonna direct Brandon what to do to tell him to do.
Okay. Okay. Little
So
little Zoom call. Little
yeah, because
technology.
unfortunately, Steve, Albert's not at the level to afford me yet. So, but
I know.
he's a
I
good kid. He's a good kid, and he definitely has always been super respectful and very like open to like suggestions and anything I've ever told him. He's taken it in stride, So when he reached out to me, I was like, bro, I'm not flying to Jackson, Mississippi because you can't pay me, but I could do this, and if it works for him, then we could always do it. It's not a big deal, And eventually, when he gets to the point where he could afford me, and then it's a different story. Then I'll be
Yeah.
in his corner, fly him in, and all that shit.
And it could be a real success story. He flew. Like I thought most of the people there for the Florida BKFC tryouts were from Florida. And Albert flies in from out of state and tries out with 100 other guys wanting a spot, and a couple girls. And 4 months later, he's
But it's
gonna
not
be
even that.
on
It's not
primetime
no.
TV.
You can't look at it like that. You got to look at it like the kid went to an Arizona tryout. The kid has been in everybody's DMs of bare knuckle saying, I want to fight, I want to fight. Flew to Florida, climbed in there with Jared, stayed a week here, trained with me, went back to Arizona. Then he called me, like, should I go to this Fort Lauderdale tryout? I'm like, 100%. Jumped back on a plane, came to the tryout, continue to be persistent, continue to ask and ask and ask and ask. And that's why. So a lot of people that are saying, "Oh, why is Albert getting an opportunity, and why are they not getting opportunity?" They don't see the fucking persistence of this kid behind the scenes. Like he's in everybody's DMs. He's talking to everybody that matters. He knows who's in charge of the bare knuckle. He knows who he has to talk to. He knows everything. The kid's not dumb. The kid's not dumb. He knew who he had to talk to, where he had to go, and who was going to vouch for him to make it happen. He made the right moves.
I thank my mama for letting me teaching me game.
Yeah,
And when I went,
Steve, he definitely, he's a little bit off. He has a few screws loose, no doubt about it. He has a few screws loose, but he definitely went the right way about it. Like he definitely found the people. Like I didn't know this fucking kid from Arizona, you know,
Yeah.
but he literally got to the point where now I feel like he's just another one of my kids because he's always in my inbox. He's always talking to me. We talk on the phone. He calls me all the time. I give him my time and I talk to him. And I motivate him because now he's one of my kids. Like even though I don't train him, like I'm 100% behind him, supporting him because he's built that relationship behind the scenes with me, with Nate Shook, with a variety of people. He's not just, he's not just out here talking shit. He's out here really marketing himself and really trying to like get with the right people to build himself a real career.
Yeah, for sure. And when you get on the BKFC TV app, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people gonna watch him fight. So
Right.
that just
I
immediately.
I used to have school buses. I used to have, you talking about seventh grade, I had school buses going to my fights. School was passing up, kids getting up. I'm talking about, I'm in seventh grade with 200 kids watching the scrap. I've
See,
done it outside of like,
he's a space cadet. He's a space cadet. He's miles away, but he has the right mentality and heart for it. Now that he needs to get his shit in like the right lane, yes, but he's still young, he's still naive, and he's still he's hungry. So like I'll guide him correctly, but again, like I'm doing with him is just off the strength of him being persistent and being a good kid, bro, and really wanting the best for his life. Like he doesn't he lives a. I don't know if you follow him on IG or Facebook. The kid has a rough fucking life. The kid fucking wakes up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to fucking work. He's out. He's on the field with the other Mexican people in Arizona working. It's not like he's fucking working at Starbucks or shit. He's out there doing manual labor day in and day out. He's stuck in it. Like he's really, really in the bottom of the bottom. He wants to find his way out, and he found a way. He's gonna make a lane. So like that's a lot of that is what makes me feel that he has a huge advantage in this fight because he has so much to look forward to if he wins. So I think with that aspect of like a life-changing situation for him, it's going to take a lot for Diaz to stop him. Diaz already feels the star power. He feels like he's somebody in the sport already. He feels like he has a voice in the name. This kid's trying to take that spot from him. And like I told him, you knock Diaz out or beat Diaz, you take his spot.
Yeah.
That guy has one fight. Diaz has one fight. You go in there and smoke him, you take his spot. So
Albert, how many fights have you fought amateur boxing fights? And what about any kind of fight that was sanctioned?
no sir. Hey, but I'm undefeated though.
Undefeated where, how, what?
Straight. You can laugh. I'm straight. I'm 27 and I fought in dudes 6'4". I done put them down. I don't get hit like all this crazy
fights?
shit I talk. Yeah, it's like it's funny because I know it's different from like bare knuckle, but bro, I'm technical on that strap.
Look,
I'm not some
Steve,
crazy guy.
Steve, the biggest part about this is they're trying to build David Diaz. And they're putting people like this kid in front of him with the hopes that, David Diaz is going to run through him, and then maybe 5 fights down the road, David Diaz and Jared. But Albert is going to be a huge roadblock. Albert's basically, what was that Mexican guy that fought? No, the Mexican guy that fought, what's his name? What's the Mexican guy heavyweight that won the world title? Andy Ruiz.
Andy Ruiz?
He's like he's an Andy Ruiz story. They're underestimating him. They're overlooking him, and he can show up and shock everybody by beating the shit out of Diaz. He's not scared. Like that's a big thing in bare knuckle. It's like, hey, are you gonna get hit? Are you gonna bitch up? Are you gonna be like, fuck this? It's not really for me. I don't see that happening, man. Like I put him through the ringer. I had him get fucking beat by Jared, and he kept coming.
Albert, who is your boxing coach at your gym?
There's a guy named Alex. There's like 4 or 5 coaches. Matter of fact, he's like right there, probably looking for me in the corner right there. But he's doing his thing. There's a few coaches over here.
He's a gym member. He's a gym member, Steve.
That's my guy right here, man. That's my bare knuckle coach right here.
Yeah,
man.
I'm his bare knuckle coach, Steve. I'm the one that gives him the advice.
Okay.
That's my guy right here, man.
Those guys are training him because he lives in Arizona. His guidance in the ring is coming from me.
Yes, sir. And when I
All
went to
right.
that tryout in Florida, I still had my bag. I just got off the flight.
Yeah,
I
he
took my
literally came from the
bag
airport to the tryout.
right off
That's
the
what's up.
plane.
That's what's up. That's determination. That is
He
persistence.
has no, he has what you can't teach. He has balls and heart. You can't teach that.
Balls and heart. Exactly.
That can't be taught, and he has both of those. So it's and in this sport, it's not really like again, his level and David Diaz's level and skill wise is similar. Now it's just who has more heart and who has more balls in that ring. And I feel like Albert's not going to give up. He's not going to give up. So it's either going to go 5 rounds to a decision or David Diaz is going to quit. Because I don't
Well,
feel
and
Albert. I don't.
my personal goal for this fight too, as well as Brian said, is like I want to. I don't want to just go. I don't want to beat David. You know, people what they say his skills. I don't want to be. I know Ryan said we're similar, but I want to make sure when I fight David, I show that there's a separation. You know, I'm not like none of these new guys, but I gotta prove it in that ring. I gotta do my thing. I gotta be flawless. I gotta just be myself. I'm not. As long as I'm myself, you know, as long as I do what I do and I'm come prepared, I don't care whatever David's bringing. You know what I mean? He could bring everybody he got. It doesn't matter because it's. I got this. I got this. You know what? I'm
All
letting
right,
this shit
Albert.
slip from
We're
my
gonna
fingers.
let you go train. Shout out to anybody who you want. Ryan, stay there. Hold on.
No, I want to say I appreciate you guys for giving me the time. Appreciate Ryan for always answering me, hitting me up. And just for the other guys, man, David Diaz, if you guys gonna have to end up wanting to fight me, because David Diaz is not gonna do anything. I'm gonna beat him, and I'm gonna be the one you guys are calling down there. All of you guys in my inbox already talking shit. David ain't gonna win this fight, so y'all better get ready to start fighting with me. That's all I got to say.
And last words for David Diaz.
Just come prepared, bro. Just come prepared. I want you to be on the top of your A game, and that's all I ask. I want no excuses. It's not gonna matter. That's all I got to say. Come
All
prepared.
right. Thank you so much, Albert,
Now,
for
hey
coming
Albert,
on.
you gotta edit your IG now. You gotta be Albert with your last name BKFC fighter.
Hey, I know.
Yeah.
I gotta put that on there. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
man? Hey,
you're a
now
BKFC fighter.
I know, man. I'm trying to see. I want to see what some honeys looking like. I got all types of girls hitting him up in my messages now. You know what I'm saying? So that's I can't wait for all this fun shit to happen, man. Let's have some fun now. It's
All
time to
right,
have some
Albert.
fun.
We wish you
All right,
luck,
bro.
and we'll talk. We'll talk
Appreciate
after
you
the
guys.
fight. Good luck to you.
Say that again.
Good luck to you.
I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys
All
later.
right. Thanks so much, Albert. Yo. So, what's up, Ryan?
Chilling, bro. Yeah, that kid definitely has the personality, the energy. So now, he gets the
Listen, we
opportunity.
we we don't just interview anybody on the fighting news. He was persistent with us too. So
You
I
see what I'm saying?
appreciate that shit, and I'm like, yeah, man, let's get you on the show.
But he
So
knows the thing about that kid, real shit, Steve. He knows who to talk to. He sees
yeah,
your podcast. He sees these. He's like, oh, I got to reach out to this guy. I got to reach out to that guy. He's basically following the Jared format, just going with the same thing Jared doing.
and it's like a sales job. You make 100 phone calls. One guy might pick up the phone, and you got a
Yep.
shot.
Yep.
And he might. I don't know how many other companies he pitched, but I was DMing him. We met at the Fort Lauderdale BKFC tryouts. He's a nice kid. I really was just doing most of the photography there. And I did couple videos, but I enjoyed that day because you saw you can see for sure who's got talent right off the bat, just by doing drills. But
Right.
it was interesting for me to see, like, 'cause I even saw, like, wow, that guy can fight.
Right.
Whether it be on the speed bag or whether it be mitts with you. Either you know how to do that stuff or you don't.
Right.
So that was pretty interesting to
But
me. I
that's
got
that's the thing about That's the thing about that kid. Like, it's literally been, I would say, a year that he's been at this. Like, he's been at this for a year. So for those people that are sitting around like right now saying, "Oh, I haven't got my opportunity, I haven't got my phone call," that kid went and fucking got his opportunity. He didn't wait for someone to call him. He didn't wait. He didn't get a he. I promise you, he got 100 no's before he got this yes. But he kept going and he kept going. He kept going. The persistence. He has no amateur fights. He has no nothing. But he's fighting in Mississippi, where that shit doesn't matter. So that's why he's getting the pro debut in Mississippi. But once he goes pro, now he's a pro fighter. He can fight anywhere. So
Yeah.
it's not so much, like I told him, it's not so much the fight. It's more the opportunity of becoming a pro without having to do the steps that it takes for real pros. You know what I mean? So now you're learning on the job, and they blessed you by putting you in a ring with someone, because you're obviously a B-sider, but they blessed you by putting you in a ring with another guy who's a B-sider, in my opinion, that you have the same skill set with. So you have a good chance of winning. So, and that could change everything. That could change the whole. By him winning that fight, it could change the whole dynamics of bare knuckle, and at the 135 weight class.
For sure. So Matt just came into the show. I'm gonna bring Matt. Yo,
Hey.
Matt, what's up?
What's going on? What's good, Ryan?
How are you, sir?
Good? I'm good. Yourself?
I'm good, man. Just got another victory on Saturday with Howard. So the team is celebrating today a little bit at the gym. Got some sparring in. Doing what we do.
I saw that. That was a great. That was a great fight. That kid's got a lot of. He's got a lot going for him. What's your history with him?
With Howard?
Yeah, with Howard.
I've been training Howard since he had one amateur fight.
Nice.
So he's currently 3-0 as a pro, 2 bare knuckle wins, and that was his boxing debut. And then now he fights. Yeah. He fights again on the February card at Knuckle Mania.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Who's he fighting?
Yeah.
Who's he fighting?
I can't say that because I don't have permission yet. You know how that shit works.
Classified.
I know who it is, but I can't. I can't.
I hear you.
Last time I let the juice, I had some people in my inbox cursing me out.
We don't want that to happen, huh?
Yeah.
Hell no. So we had an event we all went to. The Fight News was there. Ryan had a fighter there. Wow. It was like 20% chance of rain. I was like praying. Everyone was praying it's not going to rain. And the weather was really nice for an outdoor show. I mean, it was really nice.
That's a really nice venue. To be honest with you, that's a really nice venue.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like the shows that Eddie Hearn puts on over in England. Like it just reminded me. It just reminded me of that vibe, the way it was set up and stuff. It was super cool.
Well, it's a stadium. It's not as big as a stadium in England, but it's a real, it's a tennis stadium. But that's the way the seats are set up, and it's set up so everyone's got an even view, Listen, I was sitting on the top bleachers just because I don't want to sit in the crowd and stuff. And literally, I was in the top bleachers, and I had a great view, like of the ring, it was because it's not so big that you're so far away, but you're there, you're close enough, but high enough where it's like a great view. Like I truly enjoyed that venue, and I think that's a great place to have events.
Yeah.
Definitely, I agree.
The police presence was a little crazy, but that was a little weird. There was way too many cops walking around for people like me.
That's the town of Delray is like that,
Oh, like that's why? Oh, okay.
They're like that all up and down Atlantic Avenue. Oh, sure.
Yeah, because it was crazy. I was like, why is there 40 cops here? Like, this is insane.
Yeah, well, they didn't mind people smoking dope in the bleachers.
When you say dope, it sounds like a drug habit. No, I have medical marijuana. Okay, medical marijuana.
There's a lot of people smoking that medical marijuana. Because,
then it's fine. They were suffering from They must have suffered from glaucoma like myself.
Yeah, or arthritis.
They right in front of the police, and I didn't see any problems.
I'm too old to risk it. You know what I mean? Like. I'm too old to risk that. Like I have the patience to wait till I get home.
There was like in the upper bleachers that you're talking about where I was shooting from, there was a lot of smoking going on.
Yeah, but it was a great event though. Like I mean, there wasn't that many fights, but I mean, overall, it was definitely a good show.
Definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure, for sure. They had a halftime event planned, but they decided not to have them come on because they wanted to finish the show before it might possibly rain.
Right,
Which
right.
which was pretty cool. So Howard didn't get his friend, his rapper friend, to
No,
do his walkout
unfortunately,
without
he didn't.
sentencing.
Which I mean, I told him to shut up and go. Like when they were over there trying to figure it out how the delay would happen. I was like, bro, it's enough of this shit. Just go. Let's go. I don't want to hear any more about the stupid song. Just go. And that's why he just came out, because I was already getting frustrated myself sitting there, and I know how he was getting, and he's an emotional creature. So before he got all crazy on me, I was like, let me get him in the ring. So I was like, Joe, just walk out with him. Who cares about the song? Just go. Just go. And then I just pushed him forward and said, fuck it.
I was looking for Jared. Where was he?
Well, Jared's Haitian at heart, so he's not spending $80 on a ticket to go watch a fight. That's gonna be one round.
Yeah.
He's not gonna spend $80. And he literally told Howard, like, I'm not doing it. I'm not spending, no. So
You know what they should do? They should do like in Yankee Stadium, sell the seats in the upper bleachers for like $15.
Yeah, and you'd have a lot more people show up. You'd have a lot more people show up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because the tickets are really expensive for that event, for being what it was. Granted, it's a really nice spot. I'm sure you paid crazy money to rent it out. But I mean, for an event like that with the caliber of fights, I would have definitely thought like, a $35 ticket, $25 ticket would have been something more doable.
Yeah, even with Steve on the card, I agree with that.
Yeah,
So they had their main event, pulled at the last minute.
right. Which is hard because he probably lost a lot of support and people coming for the main event. So then there goes a good amount of your crowd, because I'm sure if he's putting that kid as the main event, that kid has a good following and he's going to sell a bunch of tickets. So he probably took an L on that one too, falling out. Which I don't really understand why those fights keep falling out like that. Like I don't understand that. I don't know if it's poor matchmaking.
He got a title fight in like 2 weeks.
Next
right,
week,
Matt?
Saturday night.
Yeah, so that's why it got pulled. They were like, "You want a title fight or you want to fight?" And
Yeah, they told him the day of the weigh-in, I think, or right before. They told Steve Gafrati he's going to fight Joe Smith Jr. on Saturday night in New York City.
So
you got to jump on that opportunity. You can't. Oh, I saw the kid. I saw the kid who posted that he was fighting Joe. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He's bald. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna fight for a title fight, I'm pretty sure he's making like $400,000. So I mean, it's kind of like a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for sure. Yeah, but the other guys. So BT Newton was obviously there. He was the headliner, and he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He was a little.
There was a few good guys. Trap was on the card. Trap's another good fighter. There was a few guys that were good. There was the one fight that I was surprised was I'm not sure of his name, but he was like the Spanish, like Italian looking guy that was from, I think, Boca area. Maybe he trains with Derek too, and he was fighting the black kid that quit in the corner.
Yeah, that was Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos. Yeah, I mean, that fight was definitely not supposed to look like that. You know what I mean? So that one definitely, I enjoyed that one just on the strength that it was competitive in the beginning. It was like, oh shit, this kid's bringing it to the table.
Yeah. Well, I've seen Carlos in the gym, and Carlos has a lot more power on tap than he showed that night. I didn't speak to him. I don't know what it was. It could have been anything. It could have been the weight cut. It could have been nerves or something. But
that weight cut stuff's no joke, man. Like I tell everybody that trains with me and fights for me, like be on weight, walk around close to your fight weight, because that's like if you're cutting weight your entire camp, you're throwing away 20% of your skill, 30% of your skill. First round, it's over with. Like after you're losing every round because of weight cuts. You're just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. You might make the fucking fight all the rounds, but you're not gonna bring anything to the table worth a damn.
Yeah, but you know what? That was only his second pro fight, and he's a military guy who's in the Army or the Marines or whatever, and
right.
He'll get the discipline back, and he'll he'll be able to display what
No,
I've
and
seen.
and what he definitely had was a good following there. There was definitely people there supporting him. So in boxing, especially when you're building fighters, you know, as long as you have that initial support in the beginning when you got to sell tickets to get fights, you know, he'll be able to move along. That's the biggest thing. If you have a good following as a fighter in the beginning, in your first 10 fights, it's going to be easier for you to move along in your career because of that following. Because any promoter's going to want to work with you. Because they're like, shit, this guy puts seats in chairs, asses in the seats. That's why, honestly, that's why I've been able to get Howard so many fights consistently, is because he's consistently selling 150, 200 tickets.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fans.
Right. But he's one of these people that support everybody who supports him. He doesn't only support the people that are sponsoring him. If you guys right now were to tag him in anything, he would share your post and share it to his, and vice versa. So his support is real because he shows support. Yeah. Where a lot of these fighters, I'm not going to name drop anybody, Jared, but like they don't give a shit about their sponsors. They don't care about that. Like they just want to fight, you know? Howard is more of a fighter that's marketable in that aspect to a promoter because he's bringing eyes to the fight, because you might not like violence or boxing or anything, but you support Howard and you're going to show up. Where Jared's fan base is combat fans. It's not the regular Joe guy that owns. Like Howard has one guy that goes to all shows and pays for a VIP table. That's the reverend of his church. You know that guy doesn't like violence, but he's supporting Howard because Howard supports the church.
Yeah.
So that he has that good community relationship that's going to take him far as a fighter. Where that's one thing huge that Jared lacks huge in that department. He's not very friendly. He doesn't talk to people, so it's hard. Well, it's hard. He shows his skills in the ring, so it's hard with him.
Well, that's why I think the whole sport has suffered, you know, in this country, because nobody knows who the fighters are. And I was talking to, you know, one of my childhood friends about that. He's like, people don't know, you know, a lot of, if you're outside, Canelo Alvarez is not a household name, you know, in this country. In Mexico it is. Right. But not here.
No, there's no boxers, I would say, on the current American roster that anybody gives a shit about. Like, realistically, nobody gives a shit about boxing. And honestly, that's the hard part about boxing. Boxing is like, at this point, where what I've come to realize is it's more, even though I know it's a business, it's more business than boxing. It's horrible. So it's like, even though BKFC, like bare knuckles at its infancy stages, it's more honest competition, except obviously with the top dogs. But the fights are more like balanced. It's more competitive. It's more, it's not like when Howard's fighting in BKFC, I don't get to pick his opponent. They send me a contract. You're fighting this guy. Perfect. Where his boxing match, I got his opponent. I found the guy. I did the whole process. So it's like, how many times you fight in boxing just to build a puffed up bullshit record and make some money on ticket sales before you have to really take that step and fight somebody hard and prove that you're a good fighter, Like I'm having that same problem with Bryce right now. Bryce is 5-0, 4 knockouts, 154 pounds, 6'5".
Yeah.
Who the fuck wants to fight that kid? You know what I mean? So now I'm in a situation where it's like, okay, do I take him into 6 and 8 rounders with only 5 fight experience, so I can get guys who took a loss and need to get a win on their record and will challenge Bryce? Or do I start spending 10 grand for guys that are going to lay down?
Yeah.
And the thing is, if I beat enough, say I take Bryce the other route where I fight a tough fight, I win 3 tough fights with Bryce, no one's going to fight him anymore. The top 10 guys don't want to fight a guy with a winning record against tough competition. So then it's like you're back to the business mindset of, okay, I'm going to invest 50 grand in this kid and get him 20-0. And when A-side promoter looks at his records like, oh, this is a puffed up record, this is an easy win, and they look past Bryce, and then you put him on the main stage where he beats someone that has some type of, like a Ryan Garcia or a big name dude where he's not supposed to win, and then you put him on that start platform. So it's like you couldn't have the greatest fighter in the world, but if the people on the top block you because he's dangerous or he's really competitive you'll never make it to the top because it's a business at the end of the day. So it's kind of hard to like make that decision of like, all right, do we invest 50 grand in Bryce, keep fighting shitty guys, or do we invest 50 grand in Bobby, build Bobby up to fight shitty guys and take tough fights with Bryce? But then what happens if we beat a big name? Then Bryce is on the bench. So it's a difficult sport, and then it's and since there's no like committees, like there's nobody supporting the fighter. You know what I mean? The fighter is the fucking rooster in the fucking cockfight. There's no one supporting the fighters. So the fighter gets thrown to the fucking curb, and then you got to move on to another fighter who might not be as talented, but boxing blocked that kid, and they don't want to fucking give him an opportunity. Yeah. It's fucked up, but that's the nature of the game. And that's the one thing I could say about boxing that sucks, because I could promise you in Florida alone, there's 4 or 5 possible world champions walking around in Florida alone, but that will never see that opportunity.
Who do you think they are? Let's hear your list.
Luis Melendez from KO Fitness.
Yep.
El Chucho.
Yeah, Chucho. Bryce Henry.
Wait. When you say you'll never see him, he's been on a top ranked card.
No, but I'm saying but think about this. He's been on top ranked cards as the B side and upset the A side. So now you gotta look at him like he's a threat. So how many times are A-siders that are getting paid to fight gonna take that risk? After he upsets 4 or 5 more guys, either you get signed by a major promoter or just not going to look at Dan Nguyen, the Dan Nguyen story.
Yeah.
Why did that come to bare knuckle? Because nobody would fucking fight him in boxing. And that's what happens to these kids. Like my list goes, in no particular order. There's not like 1, 2 or whatever, but the top, like my top 5 in Florida would be obviously Eric Tudor, Bryce Henry, Chucho, what's his kid's name? OJ, he's from Winter Haven, Florida. He's a heavyweight. Brandon Moore. I don't know if you guys know Brandon.
Yeah, I've seen him.
He fights for Winter Haven Boxing with what's his coach's name? Shit, it's on the tip of my tongue. Marcos from Winter Haven's his coach. He's one, and then the other. Who else would I say? The Valley brothers. Marcus Valley and his brother.
Okay.
Those are, and of course, like the particulars, Aaron Apontes, Xander Zayas, those guys. But those guys are blessed with opportunities that most fighters won't get.
Yeah, well, let's talk about. I mean, Xander is one thing. They picked him up when he was real young. Aaron just signed a promotional contract with Matchroom. He built his own fan base, and when he had that fight in Miami over there at the Hard Rock Stadium, and he filled seats there.
Yeah, 100%.
Early, he filled the seats early, Matt. Like
he sold a lot of tickets.
There other to see him. There was no one else there.
Well, just hear me out. He sold a lot of tickets, and his family is very active in the community. Like they do a lot of things in Miami. They partnered, with the mayor there to put on that event with the WBA. Remember that? Yep. 2 years ago.
He has his own. He has his own city day in the city. There's Aaron Aponte Day in Hialeah. Yeah. He has his own day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's through the hard work of his family.
100%. 100%.
They did something in Thanksgiving. They had a big. It was an outdoor. It was like a movie night, and the proceeds went to charity, whatever. So I mean, that's what you got to do. And I was talking to Chris Algieri about this also. Chris Algieri built his fan base by doing meet and greets up in Long Island. And people knew who he was. And that's what you got to do.
100%.
The other thing, I was also talking about this to someone. You got to pull like a political stunt, like a Colin Kaepernick kind of thing, and have it be picked up by a news station or something like that, and have it go viral, and then
like how I pissed on Scott Burke's medal.
Yeah, something like that, but something that would appeal to a broader base of people.
Well, I got my point across.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You
So
did.
so speaking of WBKC,
Yep.
tell us a little bit of something about this belt that you created and this company you created, Ryan.
Okay, so being that I've been in bare knuckle since the infancy with Jared, and I was a fan of bare knuckle since the first Mexico fight, and obviously I have a relationship with Nelson Lopez, who's highly involved with BKFC. So I get a lot of insight and a lot of stuff that I see before fans see or fans even know. So I'm always kind of on the curb, on the front of the curb on situations when it comes to the bare knuckle scene. But what I've been noticing is that it's becoming more of a race to get a TV deal between the three promotions. So there's three major players: BKB, BYB, and BKFC. Those are the three major players. Each three have their own rule sets, their own fucking rings, and their own stuff. So they're their own entities by themselves. So basically, these three guys are racing to the top to whoever secures a TV deal. And then when they secure a TV deal, this sport goes into the Dana White business mythology of one person controls the sport, one person dictates what people get paid, one person dictates who gets become a star and who doesn't. And that to me is bullshit. And I love I love the way BKFC treats my kids. I don't know about anybody else's experiences. I don't know what other problems they've ever had. The way they treat me and my fighters, top notch. Top notch. But I can't also be naive to know that my kids' value is way more than what we get paid to their brand. You know what I mean? The longevity of my fighters compared to some on the rosters doesn't compare. How many more fights does Luis Palomino have in the tank? How many more fights does Hector Lombard have in the tank? How many more fights do these fighters that they keep promoting have in the tank when I'm bringing in guys whose pro debuts are in bare knuckle? Not even boxing. I could have had Howard's pro debut in boxing, but I didn't. I wanted him to be known as a bare knuckle fighter that does boxing, not a boxer that does bare knuckle fighting. And the same thing with Jared. I wanted Jared to be a bare knuckle fighter that does boxing, does whatever the fuck he wants to do. But the title is he started as a bare knuckle boxer.
So what is WBKC gonna do?
It's the first ranking body outside of all promotions. So
Okay.
I'm gonna rank.
You have the list of rankings.
Yes, I do. No, it's done. It's just there's no need to drop it yet because all the promoters are throwing their own new world title fights all of a sudden. So it's not that they don't want to. I have a feeling nobody's playing ball with me except one. So I have to figure out how this is going to work. If not, is create another promotion company to compete with them and still have the ranking opportunity and say, like, let's just say I'm going to use a weight class Palomino. Palomino's the champ, right? I got him ranked in mine as number 1, right? He's not my champ, but he's ranked in the WBKC as number 1. I have a number 2 and a number 3 fighter in my ranking. I could offer Palomino the fight. He's going to tell me, hey, I'm under contract with BKFC. I could approach Dave and say, hey, Dave, I got him ranked number 1. I want to do this fight. I want to do this. I want to do this. Dave could tell me to go fuck off. Then Palomino's not going to get his opportunity, and I got to move him I got to take the fight between 2 and 3. And then the 2 and 3, I'll have a champion. Palomino could be number 1 ranked, but he can't be the champion because he can't fight on my promotion. He can't fight on another promotion. And then the day he gets out of contract, if he feels free that he wants to fight out of contract for a title, he's more than welcome to come. And so it's not impossible to do. It's just if the promotions don't want to play ball, another promotion needs to be created that's going to give a lane for fighters to fight on a platform that's not signed, not anything. It has to be a neutral platform where I don't have to sign the fighters. No one has to be signed. It's a one-fight type thing. You sign one-fight contracts. You come and go as you please. I won't ever tell you, hey, you can't compete here. You can't compete there. It's just a neutral ground where you can fucking build. And the thing is, too, like, how do you build your record as a bare knuckle fighter right now? How? Unless those 3 promotions give you an opportunity, you're not getting a fight. But if there's outside promotions, like Howard's first bare knuckle fight was on M&R. It was on the M&R card, right? And I'm also working now with Blake to try to do a bare knuckle one on one of Blake's events. So you could have promoters doing boxing, and every so once in a while filtering a few bare knuckle fights in those fights. And now you're building a record to a guy in other promotions where they're not having to sign to a promoter to a 5-fight deal and only could do that. Because if I would have signed Howard to a 5-fight deal, he wouldn't have boxed on Saturday. You know what I mean?
Right.
He wouldn't have fought on M&R. He wouldn't have got so I learned my mistake with Jared by getting Jared into that exclusive. But again, Jared's making great money for his experience. Jared is doing it. But I jumped the gun with that by signing him. Lafayette, that's what Dave will tell him. Maybe, you never know. But it's just, that's the thing. Now if I got Dave's blessing, then the whole dynamics of this changes. So there's still that option still on the table. I'm not saying Dave said no to me, because he hasn't, but he also hasn't said yes to me. So we're still in the whole negotiation. How can it work for him? How can it work for me? How does it not discredit what he's doing? How does it not discredit his belt? How does it not, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of ifs.
I think to start would be to get your ranking system, who you have ranked in the whole realm. I mean, there's a lot of these British guys that, got to be on the lists of top guys.
No, there's dudes in Russia. Dudes in. So basically, how my ranking's gonna work is not gonna be people I know. Like, I know this guy Palomino's a good 155. Yeah. No, it's based off box rec. If you're in box rec and you're because you could literally, you guys know how box rec works. Yeah. I could go in there, I could type in, I could filter heavyweights, bare knuckle, boom. This is gonna line them all up. Then I could filter them from the guys with the best records to the worst records. And those are the top 10. Like, there's no debating it. It's not a popularity contest. It's, you got 20 fucking bare knuckle fights, you're the number one contender. And there's dudes out there, like I found a few dudes. There's a guy that has 17 bare knuckle fights that not a person on this earth knows who the fuck he is. But he's 17-0 and he lives in Russia. He's called the White Mike Tyson.
Oh shit.
Right.
So it's like there's people out there that now maybe a huge promoter doesn't want to put him on, but let's say a Blake Davis says, fuck it, let's fly him from Russia, let's put him in a bare knuckle fight against a badass here, stream to Russia or stream to wherever, and make that money. You know what I mean? So there's always a way. Or maybe the Russia guy, we can negotiate something with his camp where they put some money down for a title fight. Anything is feasible when you have your own like world bare, like a council for the titles. That's how boxing makes money. Like, and then you're going to tell me in boxing there's not different promoters? Of course there's. Top Rank, Al Heyman. They hate working together, but they come together when it's time for unifications and their fighters have the belts. They figure the shit out. And it's the same thing in BKFC, but I think BKFC, BYB, and BKB's mentality is more of who could get the Dana White job first. Who's going to be Dana White? Who's going to control the market? Who's going to decide what happens where? You know what I mean? And that's horrible for the sport because you got one guy, now you got people saying, oh, you're going to fight for $1,000. No, I want to make $1,200. You take the 1,000 or you never fight on this platform. Now you're big dogging people. Now you're strong arming athletes. And that's what happens in the UFC. How many horror stories have come out recently about the UFC? Like, oh, I got paid more to fight Jake Paul than I got paid in my entire fucking career in UFC. That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. See, I don't care what Jake Paul is doing. All of that. To me, he's bringing awareness to fighters being fucked. That's all he's doing. The whole fighting celebrities and shit. What's the Puerto Rican girl that fights on his card? I forget her name. Serrano.
Amanda Serrano, yeah.
Amanda Serrano. Mm-hmm. How much money has she made on her last 2 fights on Jake Paul's card?
More than she's ever made in her
fucking whole career, and she's a badass. So that's the awareness that he's bringing to these fighters, and I feel that I brought that same awareness to bare knuckle. Like, yo, you guys aren't seeing what's happening. You're literally gonna get pushed into a corner where one promoter is gonna control the game, and that one promoter is gonna buy out the other 2 promoters, and it's gonna be one major player. Like that happens in UFC all the time. Dana White gets a competitor, he buys them out, puts them on the shelf, and they're done. And that shit sucks because the only person that really hurts at the end of the day is the fighter. And it's as bad as this. It's as bad as this. What happens in BKFC? You guys know BKFC fighters don't make as much as UFC fighters. Facts. It's not happening. Those UFC fighters get what, like 12 grand a fight and 12 grand a win or some bullshit. Bare knuckle, they don't give that shit. They give a basic boxing purse, $1,000, $2,000, basic as fuck for debuters, right? So now you're a debuter. Where are you making your money? Sponsorships, correct? Because you're not making it on the purse. But if you get 10 assholes on your shirt who gave you $500 each, now it's okay. Now it's not so bad. But what happens when that UFC takes away all your sponsorships and says you're only allowed to use the sponsors we supply you? And if you're a B-side fighter who sucks, you're only going to get $200 when a Paige Van Zam's going to get $1 million to wear the same fucking uniform.
Right, exactly.
And then it's like the fighters don't understand that shit because they just want opportunity. They want to fight. They want to do what they want to do what they have to do, and they want to do the best they can do. But hold on a second, go inside. I'm on. They want to do what they to survive and make the money they can, you know. But when it gets to that point, and I'm not saying I haven't already seen in the contract where it says your fucking rights to your sponsors are going out the door soon. Like I've already seen it in the contract. That they haven't implemented it to the fighters yet, cool. But that I have seen it in the contract, 150%. That it's in there. You cannot wear this type of logo. Like they already don't let you wear competitor logos. So like if you're like one of their competitors sells CBD, you can't have another CBD company sponsor you.
Right.
So if that's already being controlled, the next one is, hey, I'm gonna put 10 million into your sport. My name's Nike. I don't want to see anybody else wearing anything but Nike. What do you think's gonna happen? You're gonna all wear Nike, and then your sponsorship goes out the window, and then the company decides what percentage of that sponsorship you're entitled to. And if you're a shit fighter making $2,000, you're gonna get a shit cut of that purse, of that money. And that's what these fighters don't understand. Maybe because they're naive to the business side of this, or there a lot of fighters like Jared is pure example. Jared's gonna do whatever the fuck I say. So like maybe their coaches are not informed. Maybe they don't understand. Maybe they just don't know, and they're gonna cause more problems for their fighters than good because they're not reading the contracts. They're not asking the promoter, hey, what does this mean here? Why does like there's contracts that I've seen where they put a ticket minimum on the fighter. Like you don't sell X amount of tickets, you're getting X amount. You got to pay the difference. How crazy is that? You're risking your life, and on top of that, you're gonna take my money, the little bit of money you're giving me. Yeah. Now, if you tell me I'm making $1 million, you're paying me $1 million. Yeah, my ass need to fill those seats.
Yeah.
But if you're paying me $3,000 and then you're gonna take 20% of my shit if I don't reach a quota like a job, that's crazy. Right. And then these fighters that are $2,000, $3,000 fighters, they don't have a street team that's going out there selling their tickets. It's them selling their tickets to their family. And their family supporting them. How many times do you think that family member is going to support that? They can't. It's not realistic. Yeah. So if the fighter doesn't have a street team, the fighter's not out there marketing, so hustling, that shit's more than boxing. Like the boxing shit's cool. Like, oh, you're a great boxer. But if you're better at marketing and selling yourself, that's how you make money in this sport. And it's sad to say, like not the best people get the opportunities. It's the people who are marketable and make more business sense to these companies. Like I promise you, to get Jared and Bare Knuckle, I wheeled and dealed for months. Please, look, I understand. I get it. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And so on, to just get him an opportunity because he didn't have a following. Only the local community knew who he was. He's not a huge social media person. And that's fucked up, but that's the nature of this game. Look at, no disrespect, because he's a nice guy, Jake Boswick. Jake Boswick isn't the greatest fighter in my opinion, but he has a huge fucking following. Yeah. Yuli Diaz is a great friend of mine. Huge fucking following. Not the greatest, but huge fucking following.
Right. Well, and he built himself up too.
100%. But his following was ridiculous from the day one.
Right. But it's because he does things other than boxing, and he always has.
100%. 100%. He does the street team work. That's the street teamwork that you have to have as a fighter to be successful. And people don't see that. Like, I have a new fighter that I'm training who has a huge fight in bare knuckle. And I mean, he's not a huge celebrity, but he has a huge following, and he got the opportunity because of his following. So it's crazy. Like I'm training the kid Fames. The kid that's fighting Chad Mendez.
Oh right, yeah, from
right.
Yeah.
No, from Slaughterhouse.
From Slaughterhouse now, but
yeah.
He was
no, from Slaughterhouse. Yeah. When he was out of shape, he trained other places. Now he's in shape. So he's training with me now, and like I told him, I'm like, hey, this is a massive opportunity for you. You beat Chad Mendez, your life changes.
Absolutely.
So like for him to like even get that type of opportunity, I told him, man, you need to go get $10,000 sponsorships, $100,000 sponsorships, because that's what Chad Mendez brings to the table. Like you could go get those sponsorships, and it's sad because he's a kid who only has a few pro boxing matches and 2 bare knuckle fights, and he's 1-1. So technically, he's going in there as a huge underdog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like this might be that one and done that you're getting that opportunity to go get $100,000 sponsor, to go make some real money. You know what I mean? And then what happens when you're in 6 months, maybe 2 years, 5 years, whatever, when BKFC and these companies monopolize and become one, and you have no room to get a sponsorship anymore. You're not going to get that $100,000 sponsorship. You're not going to get the food nutritionist who's going to pay for all your shit because you're wearing the logo on the trunks. You're not going to get the fighting news guy that hooks you up with the t-shirts because you rock his logo. That's not going to happen anymore. It just won't exist. There won't be that way where like I'm able to put your guys' logo on every one of my fighter shorts, support you the way you guys support me, because the big dogs are shitting on us and telling us we can't anymore because the door is closed. And that's really my only reasoning behind that World Bare Knuckle Council. It's to keep the door open for fighters to make more money and have more opportunity. And unification. Like, look at that guy, the guy Jomi, that was just the BYB champion, right? They made him get rid of his belt. They're like, no, you can't take that belt over to BKFC. He wanted to defend it on both platforms. Why the fuck not? Why not? Who cares? You know what I mean? Now you got a guy that wins a BKFC belt, and let's say he goes to BKFC and he fights Lorenzo Hunt beats his ass, or vice versa. Now you got a guy that has a belt in both promotions. Yeah. Then you can have a unification title fight with a guy in England, and then you can bring in the World Bare Knuckle Council. Then you have a guy who's a unified champ with all the fucking belts, and now you have a Teofimo Lopez situation with a fighter you can market. You can make a fucking stupid money with fighting a fucking superstar like, Teofimo, perhaps, whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now it's not going to happen. It's going to be a monopoly. It's going to be controlled by one. And to be honest with you, the belt, I paid for everything out of pocket. No one's invested in this shit but myself. It was more of bringing awareness to anything. It could be a fucking paperweight in my house for the rest of its life for all I care. It's more of bringing awareness to the sport that I'm involved in, knowing where it's headed long term. If I could put my 2 cents in it and help it go the right way where it benefits the fighter, 100% I'm gonna support it. But if the fighters aren't supporting me, if the fucking people, I'm not gonna look like an idiot either. I'll just sit back, and in 5 years I'm gonna tell you I told you so, because I'm gonna keep striving to get my kids the best opportunities. The people that fight for me, I'm gonna push for the best opportunities for them. And I'm going to give them the most money I can. But then when the other fighters who didn't get that are going to look at me and be like, hey, you were right. It's too late. Like, by the time it's already becoming too late. Let's just say that. Like, it's almost to the fact where I'm okay with my belt being a paperweight in my house. But I brought awareness to something, and I just know that what's inevitable in this sport. And if the fighters don't get behind and support it, it's inevitable. And they're going to lose. They're the ones that are going to lose at the end. Not the
fight card on Knuckle Mania 2, they don't have. I only think I saw 2 fights on there so far.
Yeah,
you know more.
I know that Chad Mendez and this guy Fames. Yeah. I know Bostwick is supposed to fight. I know.
You're throwing a lot of names out there, but just no opponents yet.
Yeah.
But on their website, they only have 2 fights on the card.
Yeah, I can't name drop the opponents because again, I'll get in super big trouble.
Yeah.
I'm not getting in trouble.
That's gonna be a great event. Knucklemania.
Yeah,
One.
Jared got pushed off. There's too many celebrities because he doesn't sell enough tickets. You see what I'm saying? That's the shit. You see what I'm saying? Like Jared doesn't make sense to them to fight in fucking this card because he doesn't sell enough tickets. But Howard does with less experience, less shit because he sells tickets. So now Jared got to
Money
fight.
thing.
Now Jared got to fight in New York against Johnny Bedford, who's from Texas. You know what I mean? So that's the nature
of his life.
But it's the nature of the game. Like when you come to Florida, you could sell those fucking Hard Rock tickets for $5,000 a table. But in Mississippi, who's buying a $5,000 table?
No one.
So that's why you have Elvin Brito main events in Mississippi's. That's why you have the kid that we just had on earlier, Albert, fighting in Mississippi. Albert's not going to sell any seats in Mississippi. Neither is David Diaz.
Yeah,
they're not. So what's the cheapest event? Mississippi. What does it cost to get the fucking commission in Mississippi? $800. What's it cost in Florida? $10,000. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that Matt right now, no boxing experience and no boxing fights under his belt, no amateur nothing, can go to Mississippi and be on
he doesn't even have to go to Mississippi. He doesn't even have to go to Mississippi. He go to Georgia. It's even closer.
Okay, so Georgia, Matt can fight.
Look, that's what's his name did. That's what
everybody does.
Malo had no experience.
Right. Yeah. No, but Malo turned pro in Florida.
Right.
Right. But
he could have done that anywhere, you know. As soon as they saw how many tickets he would sell, and you know.
That's it. And then what happens is, in like any combat sport, you got to build a B side. Where are you gonna get a B side? Not at the gym training. You're gonna get him in the backyards of Alabama, Mississippi. That's where you're gonna get him, and that's the nature of the game. And then once you're a pro, you can fight anywhere, and that's it. So they turn you pro in these states that let anybody fight, and then you can fucking float them anywhere because it doesn't matter.
We're gonna do another show before Knucklemania, Bare Knuckle Knucklemania, and after January 29th. We're gonna do a show early February about Bare Knuckle when they fill up the card, and we'll talk about it. Like you said, Jomi's gonna be fighting on Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, which is, you know, we're a big fan of Jomi's. You know, and I guess Hialeah Champ's gonna get a title shot again to become champ again.
Did he confirm that he's fighting again?
I don't know, but
he told me he wasn't doing bare knuckle no more.
No,
I don't know. I saw him in Pillow Fight Championships, and he
told me he'll do boxing. He told me he'll do boxing, but not bare knuckling. That's what he told me. So I don't know if he does bare knuckle. Bless his heart, but he's more of a man than I'll ever be because that shit's crazy. So especially at our age.
Thank you so much, Ryan, for coming on.
Yep.
And Happy New Year to you, 2022. Great freaking year.
I don't know if you guys also know. I believe it's February 15th or 14th. There's gonna be a fight, signature punch with Bryce and GP are gonna fight on that.
Yeah.
I'm also training GP now too, guys. So.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, he's
Gaspard
Pierre. He's working with me. I'm helping his coach Eric get him a little different looks, get a different type of style in him, maybe some more movement, some more footwork, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a show at Bonaventure in Weston on, I think it's February 15th or 16th, something like that. So check out Bryce Henry, stud.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are they still growing? I saw them the other night. I didn't think either of them were taller than me. Now they both look like they're taller than me.
Well, Bryce is 6'4" and Bobby's 6'3". And then Bobby fights at 47 and Bryce fights at 54. And then this fight at the Bonaventure is going to be the first step-up fight for Bryce. So we're going to go 6 rounds and we're going to fight a person with like a winning record. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's what they have to do, because you had mentioned BoxRec before, for your ranking system, and BoxRec works on those points. So you can have a guy who's 20-0 and have no points on BoxRec because his opponents never won a fight,
Yep. Like
But
Bryce has 2 stars in BoxRec already with 5 fights because he fought a guy. The guy on Triller had 40 something fights, and then his first opponent Zachariah Kelly had like another 40 fights. So he's fought guys with a bunch of fights. So
Yeah.
he already got 2 stars. I think he's ranked like 100 and some 50 or some shit like that in America or the world or some bullshit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean you can't take bullshit records on BoxRec because they expose you on BoxRec. So. If you know how to read BoxRec, you know when you see a bullshit record or not.
Yeah, yeah. And if you know the point system, it's even better. I think that point system is pretty accurate, you know? And
I think so too. You could win a lot of bets if you actually know how to read the BoxRec stats.
yeah,
You could win a lot of bets. I can tell you that much.
absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, Ryan.
But it was great talking to you as
Respect,
usual.
guys. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right. We
got it.
appreciate
All right.
you too.
Later.
Keep cranking out those camps.
Yes, sir. So that's a wrap, Matt. Thanks for coming on. And I don't know if anyone noticed, but these are the new fighting news all over hoodies.
Have you taken that off since Saturday night or what?
What's that?
Have you taken that off since Saturday night or?
No, I sleep in it. I love it. Nice and comfy.
It
And
looks comfortable. I'll give you that, you know.
coming in the future, we're going to have gear to buy, gear to purchase.
Merch.
Fighting News gear. You can support the Fighting News through gear.
Yes.
People have been asking for it. They've been asking for it, so we're going to give it to them. And they even had your size, Matt. So remind me.
You got it. You got it.
All right. We're going to
so
do another show. We're going to talk about all the events we got coming up. We got a bunch of shows at the end of the month, and we got a bunch of shows in the early February. So we're going to talk about it on the next show. We just went a little bit too long tonight, and
we can shout out to Steve Gaffard, local kid fighting a big fight championship Saturday night. I think it's ESPN.
Let's go.
Go, Steve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, like I said before, you can follow us on thefightingnews.com. You can follow us on Instagram, _fighting_news. You can follow us on Twitter, The Fighting News. And, follow us on YouTube as well. Watch our videos. Watch our interviews. We have great content on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com, The Fighting News. Lots of great content. Interviews with local kids. Interviews with future Hall of Famers in boxing. Future bare knuckle fighters. We sponsored the BKFC tryouts in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Like Jared was talking, there's a lot of guys that got a tryout that actually gonna fight because of that tryout. And we support our local fighters. I met Albert, the guy we had on the show tonight. I met him down at the BKFC tryouts. Great kid, great story. And he wants to fight. So follow us, support us like we support everybody. Thank you so much.